Namaste. Welcome to Explore the Mysteries with Sri and Kira. I am Sri Ramka.
And I am Kira Ra. And first and foremost, thank you for being here.
Yes.
We are excited to be here with you and really appreciate you hanging in there with us as we've been traveling around the world. We are grateful that we have the internet connection and the availability to be able to pre-record this show. And we will make a note. There is so much to share about this mid-cycle of September. We are going to be on the air again tomorrow. And so please join us tomorrow also at noon Pacific time. We want to give a big shout out to TFR Live. Hi, we are so happy to be here with you today. Also a big shout out over to onenesstalkradio.com. And Sri, where else is this show showing?
We are streaming at YouTube. We're streaming at YouTube.
I was just thinking, we have two channels.
This is at the Oneness Talk Radio channel. Because we're not live, we can't stream to a couple other places. But we just want to let you know we're delighted that you've tuned in and that you can catch the video of this at YouTube and also at Oneness Talk Radio. And the audio is at TFR Live and also at Oneness Talk Radio.
There you go. I think we covered it all. And guys, let's just bring a hand to our heart because Sri and I are recording this in real time today, Saturday, when this is airing. It was just a lot earlier in your morning if you're over on the other side of the world, and a lot later for us if you're over here in Asia. And so we want to dive in. This is an extraordinary, I think I'm going to use the word exquisite moment of December. We are in that mid-December cycle. Now, if you're not sure what we're talking about, please go over to go over to YouTube, to the Sri and Kira official Sri and Kira channel and watch the full December Ascension energy forecast, or make it easy. Just go to sriandkira.com. It's right on the homepage. Because December is an extraordinary moment of mastery awareness. And awareness is all about really opening up our eyes, really being able to see. And this, of course, was an expansion from that November choice energy. So it's a big moment, Sri.
Absolutely. When one of the things that I just delight in, we just passed the full moon. We're going to talk more about that in a minute.
The 12-12-12 full moon.
Because the numerology of this moon, let alone the intensity of this moon,
gosh.
It was just a beautiful amplification. But as we consider where we are here in the mid-cycle of December, we've got kind of these mixture of energies going on. Number one is that this month is a month where the energies of courage, strength, and support are flowing into all beings.
Feel that.
Courage.
Strength. Support. But it was that flowing into all beings, Sri, because this is a little teaser for what's coming up in the show today, guys.
And so if we just pause on that for a moment and just say, all beings are blessed with an energetic healing, you could call it a healing force, because healing is that which gives you an oomph. Healing turns up the amplitude.
That's a technical term, right?
Oomph.
Yeah, that's a technical term, guys.
Yeah. And so all beings, and I mean at every level of consciousness, are receiving this extra energy. It's really one energy, but it has these aspects, this triad of aspects of courage, strength, and support. So those people in density are going to feel more empowered to live what they're doing.
So I want to talk about that more. I want to stop there.
Okay.
And the reason I want to stop there is because in this cycle, and I think this ties in so strongly, Sri, that let's jump in. Okay. All right, we're enough teasing. Let's jump in, right? So in the cycle of courage, strength, and support, which is the entire overarching energy of this month of December 2019, remember that it is the mastery awareness. I just want to make sure we're tracking with that. All energy always flows in an ever-refining spiral. You're never out of that ever-refining spiral. It's just, are you spiraling up? Are you spiraling down? Or are you just kind of going in circles, right? But how that energy floats is always awareness, experience, and choice. And again, that's going to be in our new book, so you'll learn a lot more about that. However, with the awareness energy of December, it means that the culminating choice that was made by you in November in this mid-cycle of December, which began on December 8th and rolls all the way until December 20th, this full moon illumination came forward on the 12-12-12, right? That was a 12-12-12 moment. And we're still in it, right? Here we are only 2 days later. That was just a few days ago. We are all still in this moment of extraordinary illumination. And this is actually called forward, what Sri and I are referring to as the new dawn. So spoiler alert, be there tomorrow. Because tomorrow on Sri and Kira Live at noon Pacific time, Oneness Talk Radio, we are going to be exploring this new dawn and what it's arising. It's a very interesting energy. So bringing us back to what you were just mentioning, Sri, in this energy, the pyramid of spiritual awakening right now, and if you're watching the video, we're going to put that in right now. The pyramid of spiritual awakening is currently not only illuminated, it's reflecting. And this is why I wanted to kind of jump ahead, because you were just talking about what's happening about this energy.
Well, and there's a couple of key discernments here. So number one is all beings are receiving this extra support.
Regardless of whatever dimensional realm you're aligned in or anything.
So this means that at every level of consciousness, you can be more of that, so to speak.
Well, say that again. You can be more of that.
So whatever that is,
exactly.
whatever
insert.
So whatever level of attainment, whatever level of discernment, whatever level of consciousness a being is at, they can be more fully, authentically aligned with that.
Yeah.
Now, that's one aspect. The second aspect is, how do you know where you're at? Look at what's being mirrored back to you.
Now that's really extremely important, because it's not just about what's being mirrored. It is being mirrored. It's also about the pyramid of spiritual awakening reflecting. And so remember that the pyramid of spiritual awakening has these growth experiences. It's not about a hierarchical structure. It's just that when you look at it, the pyramid has its strongest level at the base, right? Yeah. That's where it has the most. And the most of any pyramid, always found at that base level, in the pyramid of spiritual awakening, is density consciousness. So this is a very profound moment to really be aware and alert to your root chakra. What is being reflected in your root? I'm talking about the traditional first root center chakra, because this is going to be a big one during this moment.
Yeah, and the qualities typically associated with that foundational chakra, it's about safety. It's about, your tribe, where do you belong, and those aspects come
basic needs.
Yeah, it's very much about this.
Right, well, density consciousness. And this is why, if you are right now panicked about your basic needs, if you are worrying, if you are fascinated by what's happening on the world stage, the drama, it's really such an incredible illusion of an illusion of an illusion. This would be the moment to recognize through the courage, strength, and support that is waiting for you if you simply ignite the circle of gratitude, giving, and receiving. And we're going to be talking a whole lot more about that in the second half of the show. And actually, Sri and I are going to be offering you a lot of information on energy and some photos and some little movie clips on how to actually lift through that right now.
We're living in an amazing time.
That's
time
true.
Where people are awakening. People are emerging. Sometimes, have you ever watched a little chick come out of the shell?
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And it's a little peck, 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 and just a little bit of an opening. And imagine what it's like on the other side.
Yeah.
That you're in this, your
cocoon.
World now has a little ray of something different. A ray of light, but they don't know it's light at first. It's just something different.
It's just different.
Well, for those of you that are evolving, something different may be showing up. And that something different could be interpreted by the traditional personality as threatening, because it's different.
It often is.
Yeah.
No, it often is.
And so the the experience is one of something's different, and the awareness is this good? Am I aware of an emerging evolutionary process, or am I aware of only my fear and my sense that someone changed things? And so I offer this as a reminder that every single one of us goes through the cycles of evolution that involve being in the beginner's mind over and over and over. The place of this is new, I'm not sure what's going on, that keeps coming back in.
Well, and this ties into the awareness, because we are in this moment of mastery awareness in December, and that's very much tying into that experience. It's funny because awareness, experience, choice. I'm just loving the chick example, because in the awareness of the chick, something shifted.
Yep.
And how many times is the awareness of greater light a shift that might scare you, or that might repel you, or that might repel others?
Well, or created just an insecurity.
Exactly.
Somehow my
It's
world
different.
has changed.
Right.
So many people, and we've gotten some emails when people are talking about the awakening process, how they move into often people move into a space of nothing's working anymore. My traditional ways.
The way it used to be, right?
And then that stimulates the inner child to be a little bit frightened, like, I don't know, I'm insecure, I doubt, and you could get into a loop that is counterproductive to your evolutionary process. It might be a needed loop, however, for you to master your own healing journey. So there's always a gift. Every problem in your life is there because it has a gift for you. It doesn't feel like that at first. It just feels like a problem. But when we get to the other side, we're somehow better. We're somehow more wise and stronger. And so I don't mean to move off into that too much, other than to just remind everybody that all beings are evolving, and that some of us are at different places in our journey, so that this energy of courage, strength, and support is there for you to perhaps trust the flow more than before.
Well, and this, I'm loving the word trust, that, because that chick trusts to keep pecking. If the chick stops pecking, it dies.
Tries to repair the shell.
Exactly. It's like, no,
somebody fix that hole.
Somebody fix that hole. I love that. And this is so extraordinarily important to recognize in this mid-cycle of December. I also want to share, Sri, that this is also a moment where this reflection of the pyramid of spiritual awakening can also be a moment of extraordinary inspiration. And I do want to share, just more of a personal note, that in that inspiration, if you have not yet registered, it's totally free for the New Year's event. Sri and I are going to be back at Tosa Blue Mountain in 1 week. This time next week, we are back at Tosa Blue Mountain, and we're going to be live on the air. And so you absolutely want to register for our New Year's Eve Extravaganza, and the inspiration that came in for us around that, it's right on the homepage, right?
At SriandKira.com. And what we're going to be doing is broadcasting live the gathering of the beautiful people that have come to Ecuador to be with us
from our all-new, brand-new yoga studio. We're excited.
The new yoga studio, some great music and playlists.
Awesome.
And it's party time at first, and then we're going to quiet down a little bit and move into the ceremony of the sacred ensoulment.
And there's a lot coming in this year, guys. I mean, Sri and I will have just come back from this 1 month journey, and we're going to be talking a lot more about that in the second half of the show today, because it ties into the gratitude giving receiving cycle. And this is why our gratitude giving receiving part of our inspiration this mid-cycle of December is please register. Now, we will be on YouTube Live, so it'll be easy. Everybody can join us. However, if you register ahead of time,
you get the pre-function.
You get the pre-function. We're going to be sending out some other information. You're going to have access to a lot of other things. So again, SriandKira.com. You'll see it right on the homepage. It's actually right across from the December Ascension Energy Forecast video, and it says, hey, register for New Year right here. So I really want to encourage you to do that. And while you're there, I do need to share that,
beautiful.
During this pyramid of spiritual awakening reflection, after many years of being guided and after really being aware in the awareness that it was going to happen, I am bowing and grateful that starting February 3rd, 2020, I will finally be teaching the Bhagavad Gita of Ascension. It is a culmination of a 25-year journey with the Bhagavad Gita. Check it out. Come join us. It's going to be an extraordinary live journey, and you'll also find that on the homepage at shriandkara.com. Just click on it.
And I just want to add, for those of you going, no, wait a minute, this is different.
It is different.
My beloved Kira has been studying the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata for more than 25 years.
That's true. I just don't want to admit it.
She has a wall of texts, a wall of versions.
I have a vast library.
Indeed, large, huge.
Yeah.
And every day she is reading this. Now, the one thing that, as a novice student of the Bhagavad Gita, the one thing I know is that the metaphors, the allegories, the representation of cosmology that is hidden in that text is perhaps the most pure, accurate description of the metaphysical truth of our co-created existence. Yeah. It's fabulous. And Kira is so inspired when she starts sharing about the Gita. You will love being in her class. And it runs for a full 9 weeks. So it'll shift your life.
Yeah, it's 9 consecutive weeks. It's a Monday night. You got nothing to do on a Monday night anyway, right? So come join us, because it is a moment of extraordinary liftoff. Remember, 2020, and Shri and I are going to start talking about this next week. 2020, we move into that dragonfly energy. It is our moment to fly free. It's going to be an extraordinarily profound healing year. And if you join us New Year's Eve live, it's free. Be there. We will be delivering the first installment that night, and there's a lot coming in. And so I guess the reason that I felt compelled to jump into that right now is because of the moment at hand. This moment, this extraordinary mid-cycle of December, where the pyramid of spiritual awakening is large. It's in front of you. It's a reflection, and it's also inviting every being to gaze into that courage and that support and the strength, these energies that have been playing as part of this mastery awareness. So I want to go back to what you were talking about earlier, Shri, because if you are, let's go back and kind of break this down. And then in the second half of today's show, we're going to be really diving into the way that you can be lifting and anchoring and working with the ascended frequencies literally right now. And we're going to be tracking you through the journey we've been taking for the first time, sharing some video clips and assisting to get these energies out there, because it was obviously the reason we came.
Well, I'll tell you, anytime that we, and I mean you, have an opportunity to step outside the context that has become your norm.
The chick breaking through the egg.
The chick breaking through the egg.
I love that.
This is the power of travel for all beings. This is your junior year abroad moment.
We'll take it.
And I'm junior, and I'd like to travel.
And I'll be abroad.
Anyways, the point of the matter is that we actually stimulate and refresh our reticular activating system. So at the most fundamental level of perception, our lens gets polished, our lens gets clearer. That's one great benefit of travel. But the other one is spiritual travel amps that up another notch. We are touching into sites that are imbued with a profound energy. And there's a lot of learnings and discernments around that that we'll save that for another conversation. The key here is that when we are willing to step outside our patterned reality, our comfort zone, we have an opportunity to up-level.
Right.
And that opportunity comes more easily and more naturally if we are in trust and we are willing, and we just simply say yes. And so
yes.
Trust, willingness, and yes, I am.
I love that. And courage, strength, and support. So let's dive into this, guys. In the pyramid of spiritual awakening, we've already established that entry layer that we are all born into, that everyone experiences, or you would not have a body of form, is simply known as density consciousness. Now we're going to put in the pyramid of spiritual awakening again right here so you can kind of track with this. Because in this moment of the divine reflection, Density consciousness is as thick as it comes. And density consciousness is got its own courage, strength, support. So this is why, especially right now, between the 8th and the 20th of December, you really want to be aware of that first chakra, but it's also influencing the second. So it lifts. It's kind of like an up, down, and it can have you feeling very unstable if you are aligned deeply in density. You're going to feel like, almost not, I don't want to use the word hopeless, but like nothing really matters. Why is this happening? That's okay. As long as you can lift and witness yourself having the experience, thereby connecting with the courage, strength, and support that begins with the illuminated heart center to pop you out of density consciousness. Let us not forget that density consciousness is a me focus. And in a narcissistic society, which is what's birthing around the planet right now, because we are all here at a moment we chose to be at the dissolution of the structures that have been.
Oh my goodness, there's a lot to talk about.
There is so much.
So I want to throw a couple nuggets here.
Please do.
Density consciousness, sometimes referred to as mass consciousness, is the groupthink.
Right.
It is the common denominator. Every culture has its version of it. They're all similar based upon certain truths. One of them is it's about self-absorption. It's about me focus. And that's where we all begin. And then to do density really in a mature way, we become a self-aware, me-focused person,
which is how we start lifting up in the pyramid.
Exactly. We become aware that I have needs and I have wants.
Right.
You're not just on unconscious autopilot. You're actually making self-preserving choices.
Yeah.
And when I say self-preserving, I'm talking about basically ego-preserving choices.
Well, and density consciousness, that is exactly what it is.
And that's what it is.
Right.
And that's the quote-unquote normal that so much of the world still operates in. And that's where it has to start. The thing is that as we become aware that we are more than a simple self-aware being, we become aware that we're aware, all of a sudden the context shifts and we move into the higher realms of ascended living. Another conversation later. The thing I want to mention is that the narcissism that is happening on this planet is a result of the frequencies or energies of the Kali Yuga, which is a compression.
Yeah.
It's bringing out a distortion of density. It's bringing out a subjectivity. Okay, me focus means it's my point of view or nothing, right? My view is better than yours. Well, guess what? Then my truth becomes better than yours. And what is truth? It's what I say it is, versus some form of consensus on what is truth.
Now, I want to expand that, because in the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening, as we expand or as we become even more aware, we have the rich opportunity where we can move from that density consciousness into what we phrase in the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening as spiritual activism. And that is exactly what you're describing. Yeah. Is that the irony is that you expand from me to a greater us. However, it becomes our us is better than your us.
It's an us versus them level.
It's an exclusive us.
Now,
exactly.
Here's the benefit of this evolutionary step moving into spiritual activism is we acknowledge that other people are there.
That they exist.
And that they have their needs and that their culture, their religion, whatever they are.
We're now in that third chakra.
We're in hierarchy.
We're in third chakra.
Yeah. And so, this is a natural evolutionary process. We move from just a self-absorption into a self-commitment, a little different than self-absorption.
Right.
And in that self-commitment, we see that there are others, but we try to convert them to our way of being.
Well, that's because we're in that third chakra. Yeah. Because the first, second, and third chakra are really the playground of density consciousness into spiritual activism. Because let us not forget that in the third chakra, through the ignition of a sense of power, there becomes at first the struggle, the power over, or who has the right to have power, or the justification.
Or who do you give your power to?
Exactly. And so during this cycle, the 8th to the 20th of December, right now, in this kickoff, remember this began on the 8th, but we got this amplification, this full moon illumination on 12-12-12, the pyramid of spiritual awakening is like radiating. Now, the gift is that all of it is radiating. The question is, what is reflecting back to you right now? And notice the chakra system within you. Notice your first chakra. Notice your second chakra. Notice your third chakra, because that courage, strength, support from this mastery awareness is not exclusive to any one dimension or experience. It's an energy, it's neutral, and it's all on the table right now. It is a profoundly big moment.
And big moments. I want to go back for a second too.
Sure.
On the 12th day of the 12th month in a year, 2001-9, which adds up to another 12. We got a launch. We got a kickoff, so to speak.
New dawn rising, tomorrow's show.
And so the 12-12-12 of this full moon that just happened is still having its way with the greater energy field.
That's well said.
Because
it is. It's having its way.
And this is such a moment to really notice that support is all around.
Yeah.
You are being loved. You are being supported in a way that is so personal. You get to be more of you. You get to help being who you are and what you dream to be. So just let that in for a moment.
I was going to say, let's breathe that in. Bring a hand to your heart. And we're going to be queuing up for a break here in just about 30 seconds. But we want to let you know that when we come back, we're going to talk about that gratitude, giving, receiving. We're going to talk about how to weave that energy together and really become the reflection of your divine presence and flourish in this moment as we would head into that final cycle of December. So as you have your hand on your heart, knowing that this is an extraordinary moment, Shri and I are going to be back in just a few minutes. So let's all take a breath, breathe it in, and really notice the gift of your divine presence. And we're going to be right back.
Stick around.
About 3 minutes, so hang in there.
Welcome back. We are glad that you are here, and we have so much to share. And first, I just want to say we love you.
Oh, so much.
We feel so connected to this community of listeners. There is a real sense of this is a tribe that we can embrace, and we trust that you feel the same way, that we can help each other out just through our presence, just through our commitment to evolution, our commitment to your own self-ascension, because the ascension process is as unique as you are.
That's why they call it self-ascension. Archangel Zadkiel, just day one, was so clear about that, giggling and laughing and saying all you need to do is remember who you are. And so we are grateful that you are remembering who you are by joining with us right now. And Shri, along those lines, I would also like to share that we have really missed talking to you. We have missed chatting with you, although I suspect there's some robust chat going on over at onenesstalkradio.com and over at the official Shri and Kara YouTube, and most likely over at TFR Live as well. So we're grateful that you're there. We're grateful that you're supporting each other. And make a note, 1 week from tomorrow, Shri and I will be back live on the air, and we are excited to be with you then as well.
So yes, please, and you can always send us an email to guest@shriandkararadio.com, and there's a chance we can fold that into the show and offer a response to you. It's important to recognize that energy exists without the boundaries of time limitation or spatial limitation. The energy of your heart, the energy of community, is a radiation that can be tapped into, that can be felt. And sometimes when we first are kind of tuning into that, we go, well, it's a little outside my bandwidth. I'm not quite noticing it. Trust it, because the more we stay together in a sense of commitment to our own spiritual path, the more that we send out a radiation of it works to all beings. there was a study years ago done by the Maharishi, what was his name? The Transcendental Meditation founder, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And the study they did was that when people got together and meditated in groups, just meditated on peace in groups, the crime rate in the city declined. And the reason I'm bringing that up, they used to promote this, and it was an actual documented study done in 3 different cities in the United States.
You've probably heard of this at some point.
And this was
many years ago.
30 years ago. The reason that this happened is that those people meditating on peace sent out a wave of energy into the community. You could call this an attractor field. Quantum physics talks a lot about these fields of energy. The attractor field of peace then is felt, and the general community responds to it.
Yeah.
It's usually below the level of perception, but somehow people for a few moments or a day are a little more harmonious. So consider what happens when we do our spiritual practices on a daily basis. And I'm not just talking meditation, because actually meditation can be done throughout the day. It's a quality of a state of mind.
Well, I think that's really the thing to talk about, Sri. I agree with that, because it does really precipitate bringing us forward from the first half of the show into this gratitude giving receiving cycle that we are in right now, literally this moment.
Well, and yes, and just as a segue, consider for a moment that when your heart is open and you're grateful for all experience, what are you radiating out into the world?
And what's radiating to you?
And this is where the mirror thing we mentioned earlier comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Do not consider that just because there is a hardship in your life, you're doing it wrong. That isn't the point. The point is, when there's a hardship in your life, to see beyond the face value of it and walk through it.
Yeah.
To step over the speed bump, to step through the veil, to do whatever needs to be done to resolve it. Then what's really being mirrored to you is you have the strength to walk through anything.
Well, and I love it, because what is this month's energy? Courage, strength, and support.
Yes.
And that strength, it's funny because all 3 of those energies, the courage, strength, support each other.
They're synergistic for sure.
Exactly.
Yes. And so, anyway, so it's so much fun to have these conversations.
I hope you're having as much fun as we are.
That we're in the middle of this month of December.
Yeah.
And we're coming up to a fabulous culmination moment, you might call it. December 31 stands alone. We'll talk more about that in the next week.
But go to shrinkcare.com and watch the December Ascension Energy Forecast. It's right on the homepage. And then right there, register to be with us live New Year's Eve. It's free.
And I have another giggle in my awareness.
I want to hear it,
Shree. I've noticed that our energy predictions, our ascension revelations that we share each month, in many ways, they've become more of a, you could say, general or a more widespread communication about the quality of the energy, because every being manifests the energy in a unique fashion. So I want you to kind of play with this for a second. When we say courage, strength, and support, what does that mean to you?
And how is that playing out?
How does it come through your expression? This is why we believe it's so important to offer you the broader strokes so that then you individuate them. We're not here to say there's going to be strife in the White House, because there's always strife in the White House.
You don't need to hear that from us.
We're not here to offer you the particulate predictions, because those come and go.
Well, not only do they come and go, they're self-fulfilling prophecies. And this, I think,
we don't want to empower any of that.
Exactly. So that is really a very relevant and potent point for this moment. And the reason I'm sharing that is that as we are in this moment of this 8 to 20 cycle, as this new dawn is rising that came in through that full moon illumination, that is exactly what is in front. That is exactly the reflection.
Yeah. And, in a moment, we're going to share some pictures with you. And
exciting!
Just by way of kind of setting up the photos a little bit.
Yeah.
We have some movie clips and some photos, starting with our adventure here in India. And I'm just about to take my shawl off, and I just want to mention that this is 100% silver fabric.
Is that the best 5G protection ever?
And when we came into Delhi, which is a metropolis,
oh goodness gracious!
This provided support not only the energy of all the many cell towers that are here, but because it's silver and they're having pollution problems in Delhi, I was able to filter the air I was breathing.
It was incredible. Hey, go to auraenergyshield.com and learn about these 5G scarves, the 5G hats, and we really here in Delhi were protected.
It was very helpful, and
yeah.
I'm just offering gratitude to Christina who makes these products.
She's brilliant.
And I wanted to say to everybody, we need to take responsibility for our health and our energy.
Absolutely.
At all levels.
Yep.
The more self-responsible we are, the more able we are to respond.
Oh, I love that. I love that. The more response-able we are, the more able we are to respond. That is just such a brilliant reflection. But see, that's the reflection, right? This moment of the pyramid of spiritual awakening. So let's dive into this again. And again, go to SriAndKara.com, register for New Year's. And while you're there, check out the Gita class. Oh my goodness, come join me. I'm very excited to be bringing forward the Bhagavad Gita of Ascension. This is a labor of love. This has been a lifelong process for me that I knew one day would come forward, and please join us in February. So guys, let's talk about this cycle of gratitude, giving, and receiving. And Shri and I, as we were reflecting upon the energy that's coming in right now and how that's being shared, it clearly hit us, and you've probably figured out by now, we're actually back in India. We came back from Bhutan a few days early for many extraordinary reasons, and had we not, this show would not have happened. So you're one of the reasons we're here. And as we are here, our entire group is currently stuck in Bhutan due to a major snowstorm. So we're also sending them the energy of they will be able to leave Bhutan. They're supposed to be leaving tomorrow to come back here to India. And so the reason we're sharing all this with you is that as Shri and I, we knew when we were called over a year ago to make this pilgrimage to India and Bhutan and back again, we also knew with the timing of this that this was really about this culminating moment. We came here during the last part of November when the choice was being made, and we've become very aware of those choices and why we were here. We are now in this broad month of awareness, and we're still here for quite a few more days. And in that, this cycle of gratitude, giving, receiving, to ignite really being able to be in that strata of ascension awareness, ascension consciousness of the pyramid of spiritual awakening is part of the courage, strength, and support. So we really felt that the best way to assist all of us was to share our journey with you through some of these video clips and pictures, because what we have recognized and what we will be sharing a whole lot more about during our New Year's celebration, because remember, December 31 stands alone. The final cycle of December is the 21st through and including the 30th. But December 31 this year is its own micro moment. It's like a whole universe in this one cycle, this one 24-hour cycle as it goes around the globe. And so this journey has been very much about really pulling all those energies together. And so we wanted to begin and share this with you as our way of supporting this. And remember, my angels, tomorrow we will be going deep into this new dawn rising and how it's affecting you and how it's affecting our planet. So you want to join us, make a note. Shri and Kira live, noon Pacific time tomorrow at onenesstalkradio.com and over at YouTube at Official Shri and Kira.
And so I just want to share a little bit now about the energies that we experienced.
Yes.
That were quite supportive and stimulating for us, as we start to show you some slides of entering Varanasi.
Well, and I think we should start with Sarnath, because that's where we began.
Okay.
I mean, are you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
It's because Varanasi was so darn powerful, but yet Sarnath set the stage.
No, it's just
and that's the key, is for us to remember: are you aware of what is being reflected?
It could be, in fact, that because Sarnath was where we went first, that it really opened me to be more present for the Varanasi energy. So let me just start there.
Let's do that. So let's first of all put up a picture. What is Sarnath? And then we'll put up some video of some chanting and other things too.
Absolutely, because Sarnath is where Siddhartha, the Buddha, offered his first teaching.
It is an extraordinarily profound Buddhist pilgrimage site. There is this grand stupa that you're looking at right now, where there are actually, I believe it was part of the ash or part of the relics of the Buddha. And so this is an extremely profound site, and it is where the Buddha first taught after reaching enlightenment.
And so one of the things that struck me about this site there used to be a lot of temples there, and if you might have noticed that some of the bricks were really short walls. They used to be big, but the grand stupa is radiating a frequency of pure love and above. And one of the things that struck me was how many different devotees were cohabitating. It was reminding me that when people are in reverence, when people are in the sincerity of their heart,
sincerity, love, and presence,
there's less judgment in the world.
Yes.
Because judgment separates.
Yeah.
All judgment is a separation energy, and it's a categorization energy, and it is an interruption in flow.
And you know, Sri, I love this because I'm reminded of, as we were walking through Sarnath on our way, you cannot miss the stupa, it's massive. But as we were winding our way over to the stupa, we were greeted by all those school children.
Yes.
And there was
joyful children.
The joy-filled, these school children were just running toward us and giddy and dancing and taking selfies with everyone in the group and happy. And I found it to be so profoundly touching that we had this energy of just pure joy and innocence and delight, and such a reminder. It reminded me very much of Archangel Zadkiel, who always says, hey, don't take this all so seriously. Yes. Remember, it's about having fun. And that when we allow density, when we allow the illusion, when we allow the reflection of that, which takes us from our joy, then we have forgotten the innocence of our own divine nature. Because within us all is the innocence of the divine nature. It's outside of the categorization of the mind. It's outside of the judgment. And these children were they were almost dancing around us. There was like this giddiness. And I found that to be very profound as we were walking toward the stupa.
Yeah. We were greeted by an ocean of joyful,
literally an
energy.
Ocean of playful energy.
And this is another thing to pay attention to in your world, is the carrier of an energy might be in a nondescript or unexpected package.
Right.
Don't look at the package. Look at the energy.
Right.
What is being offered to you?
Mm-hmm.
The kindness from a person, this twinkle in their eyes, the sounds you hear, the bird or the animal that appears. Right. All of these are carriers of the energies. Yeah. And so these children were fabulous.
And it was just so beautiful because as we found ourselves walking up, and we're going to put in a video right now, and we're going to share, and you'll hear this as well. And those of you that are listening on the audio, don't worry, we're going to describe this to you. But as we were walking up to the stupa, what really struck me, Sri, were all of the different monks. We had Tibetan Buddhists, there were Koreans, there were people from Thailand, there were people from Japan. There was chanting. There was people walking. You walk around the stupa. It's very, very profound energy. And what really struck me was the universal harmony in motion. Mm-hmm. It was such a divine, even though it was a Buddhist site, there's also a Jain temple there. There are many other energetics of many other traditions that claim Sarnath as very sacred.
Absolutely. And so to me, and I appreciate we're doing this in order, because we got off the plane in Varanasi, had a little lunch, and we went straight to Sarnath. And this was the opening.
Remember, this is only 10 kilometers from Varanasi.
And this, and also I look at the power of that.
Yeah.
How do you open your day? How do you open a moment? Do we jump into unfinished business from the day before, or do we call forward a moment of presence, present time, present moment? I am here.
I am ready.
And then I am open.
And then we invite guidance.
And so Sarnath was like the anchor point of that I am presence into that day so
Very
clearly.
much. And then the reason that I want to continue with this just for one moment is we all had a very profound, Shri and I are so blessed. Every spiritual journey we've ever taken, doors open that are either unexpected or delightfully perfect always. As we completed, literally, we all had such profound spiritual experiences there. But as we left, as we had just left, and we're going to put the picture in right now, this beautiful group of Buddhist pilgrims showed up with a gold, huge, and you'll see in the picture here, this huge gold ribbon, gold fabric,
but a continuous roll.
To wrap the entire stupa in gold light after we had just had a golden light ceremony. And so we're sharing this with you. We are giving this. This is about our gratitude, giving and receiving. And we invite you to breathe into this because the entire time Shri and I have been on this journey, we have been very aware that you have been with us, that this has been a collective community, that the tribe of self-ascension has been really weaving around the planet. And from that, we spent the entire day at Sarnath. We then arrived back to Varanasi at night. That will take us to the next magic, indeed.
And so the sun had set, and
the gold had been wrapped. And the illumination was there.
There was this buoyancy in our hearts.
Yeah.
And Varanasi is the holy city on the river.
For Hindus, it is the holiest city on the planet. Mother Ganga, it's all about beautiful Mother Ganga. Some of you may know her as the Ganges River. And the first thing I do want to share is that I was delighted that the last time you and I were in Varanasi with a group was 10 years ago. Yeah. And over those past 10 years, the Varanasi has been cleaned. The Ganga has been cleaned. I was so great. It was blowing my mind. I did not expect the Ganga to look that beautiful. It was really an honor.
No, and that was an act of awareness.
Yeah.
So often countries in their industrial, their development, there's a pollution phase, and now there's the cleanup phase.
And Shri and I, we're going to put in the videos right here. We were very, very blessed to arrive at night, and we were on a boat. And because we were getting things ready for our group, we arrived on a private boat, the Shiva moon, I don't know if you can see it in this video, but it was really extraordinary that we were on this boat. It was quiet on the Ganga. It was almost still. It was one of those perfect clear nights. And after this illumination and this energy of Sarnath, being on the Ganga and then floating by, watching the funeral pyres. We saw the fire you're going to see here. Those are bodies, being
24
cremated.
Hours a day.
They never stop. And then going by the arti. Arti is done every night on the Ganga, and Shri and I were very, very blessed. We brought home some sacred supplies because at Tosa Blue Mountain, we have what we're calling our little ghat, which is our little area of the river that is part of Tosa Blue Mountain now, where we are going to start performing arti on a regular basis as well, kind of as a bridge. But as we were arriving, it was the majesty of the river. It was the pure Shiva moon. It was the singing. It was the harmony that I felt was such the perfect balance between day and night. Yeah. That our spirituality doesn't end when we go to sleep. That we have the ability to be conscious. That whether it's the sun or the moon, it was the two in balance that brought forward the magic.
Well, there was the light of the dark, the sun and the moon moon reflecting the light.
Exactly.
But what added an enchantment for me was the flow of the water.
Yeah.
When the river is just in that buoyant flow, and the light of the stars and the moon is reflecting and dancing on the river's surface, there is a sense of support that is not rigid, a sense of buoyancy, yet flow, yet support.
And all the sadhus were there, and everyone just kind of comes together in that moment. And in that moment, it's like a still moment, but yet it's active.
Mm-hmm. And so as we continued our adventure in Varanasi, the holy city of India, truly one of the oldest cities in the world.
The
planet.
In the world.
One of the great joys that we experienced was the opportunity to visit the most powerful Shiva temple in India.
This is one one of the 12 Jyotirlingas, and it's called Kashi Vishwanath. And we were granted unprecedented access, normally not granted. We were very blessed. I want to give a shout out to our beloved friend Darshan, who made it possible, to our beloved Kautuk, who was with us the whole time, because through their efforts and their divine presence, we were able to enter Kashi Vishwanath. We were able to perform puja and to actually go into the actual inner sanctum. And while photographs are not allowed, what I do want to share with you is that 2 tons of pure gold went into the making of the top of this temple. And when you enter the inner sanctum, it's 100% silver. It's pure sterling silver. It's a building made of sterling silver with 2 tons of gold that are creating the top tower.
Now those create a frequency.
That is
you
incredible.
Look at the symbology of sun and moon.
Oh
and
my
reflection,
gosh.
But the purity of the silver and the gold creates a resonance. And then there is, again, the presence of the sincerity and devotion of the Hindus, the thousands and thousands that have offered an open heart to the Shiva Ling there, and the reflection back from that Shiva Ling, that this was a moment of walking through the mystery school, walking through the mysteries into the sanctum, and it was truly profound and a privilege, and we are grateful to the people of Varanasi that would allow
for offering us this unprecedented access. It was a blessing.
And the priests there in the temple were so cute, and they chanted, they did their ceremonies, they smiled as we struggled to find some of the words, and they said, "You are so welcome here."
They looked at Sri and I and said, "You are welcome here anytime and every time," and we were so humbled.
And then there'll be a picture here. They applied the mark of Shiva on our forehead, the 3 stripes that you'll see on so many of the sadhus, and it was a moment of just anchoring that connection and that opening to the divine Mahadev.
And as we did that, again, we're sharing this with you because feel our love, sincerity, and presence as the gift and the giving and the receiving right now, inviting you in this moment of divine illumination, of mastery awareness, to really anchor into that ascension awareness, to feel that energy as we are offering this to you. And I want to share that evening, Sri and I went back to our hotel room, and we were very, very blessed to have a room right on Ganga that we could just look right out on her. And this monkey that had been injured.
Yeah, there's a lot of monkeys.
There were a lot of monkeys
the
running around. Yeah. This monkey that had been injured literally had chosen our bedroom window to sleep in. And this poor monkey was just laying there just all day, and it had concerned me. And when we came back, I was like, is our monkey still here? What was so beautiful, and I'm hoping we can put the picture in here right now, was when we got back to our room, it had been there. This monkey had been there all day long. He had hurt his foot somehow very, very deeply. He had separated from the rest of the group, but another monkey was there hugging him with his arms wrapped around him. And I'm hoping I can put this picture in right now and you can see this. It was hard. I had to take it through our window, but it felt so beautiful to see the compassion of the Sarnath experience, the joy, the golden presence, and then the sacred energy, and the way that this energy came together for me that evening was a reminder that when we hold each other with compassion, when we are present for each other, then miracles happen. And beloved ones, tomorrow we're going to talk to you a lot more about that compassion, because we are in the moment of the new dawn rising, and we are going to take you into the mystery and the extraordinary depth of Bhutan. And so you want to join us tomorrow, please make a note, Sri and Kara Live, noon Pacific time, tomorrow, Sunday. Be there, onenesstalkradio.com, and right here at Official Sri and Kara YouTube.
As we come to a close for today, I just want to invite each of you to take a moment, bring your hands to your heart, 1 or 2, and be conscious of that air, that energy, and that buoyancy that every breath carries. As we're conscious of it, it magnifies. And as we're conscious of our breath, we become more present in the present moment. And from this present moment, I wish to say to you, thank you for joining us. We look forward to being with you again tomorrow.
Namaste. Namaste.